I'm going to show you a few things that have been going on around here, and then I'll show you the tomatoes that you guys chose for me to grow this year. Christmas wasn't that long ago, and one of the things I got for Christmas was this mushroom grow kit. And I hope to get a chance to start that soon, and once it gets started growing, I'll have a video on that, I'm sure. Looking forward to seeing how that works out. I've never grown mushrooms intentionally. We have plenty of them that grow out in the garden, but I'm not knowledgeable enough on mushrooms to know which are edible and which are not, but this is an edible one, and the whole kit is ready to grow. I just have to follow the instructions. The slips are doing pretty well. There's the potatoes I cut them off of, and some of the regrowth is about ready to cut now, so we're coming right along. Shows you some of the roots on the slips. Here's a look at some of the ones still in the jars. But I think I'll probably have enough by the time spring gets here. They're a little slow to grow, but some of these in time I'll be able to just cut them in half and stick the top half in the water and make another slip and have two instead of one for each. So we'll get to that point eventually, but we haven't got any of them that have grown enough to cut in half yet. One of the turmeric is still growing, and one is kind of at a standstill. It's not exactly going dormant, but it's not growing either. This is the little canna flower that I started from seed, and it's got a second shoot that's coming up, so it's doing okay. I'm sure it'll gain quite a bit of size by spring. I started some little pepper plants. There's a lot of variability in the coloration of the foliage on them. Some of them are getting a little darker and some of them are not. These are a cross between a black pearl and an unknown pepper. This is what a black pearl pepper looks like. They've got very dark foliage. It almost looks black. Sometimes it's just a deep, deep purple. And the peppers are round, starting black, then turning olive green, and then red. I saved seeds from the black pearl pepper, and this is what it grew. So it's obvious that it was a cross with something, but I'm not sure what yet. But I thought it was interesting enough to carry it over to an F2 generation just to see what we get. And the F2s are the little pepper plants that we have growing now. So I'm hoping that we can get some darker foliage and maybe some more interesting peppers. Another thing I've been doing recently is test popping some of our corn that I grew. And for those who are new to the channel, this is an F2 hybrid that's a cross between a glass gem corn and a grocery store popcorn. And anything that pops pretty well, I just bag it. And then the ones that don't pop well at all, like this one, I won't be saving for seeds. And then once I have them all test popped, I think I have about a dozen ears left to go, then I'll narrow it down to the best two, or the ones I think are the best two at popping, and I'll just save the seeds from those two ears and mix them together, and that's what I'll use to grow this year's corn. I'm hoping to improve it each year a little bit. And I might even work in another type of corn this year. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but I'll talk more about that later. As well as growing a few things indoors to keep me occupied, we also do a little nature watching. So I'll show you a couple things we saw recently. We had a huge flock of snow geese that hung around the area for about 4 days. It seemed like every day the flock got bigger, and this is on the 3rd day, I believe. There's quite a few of them. And there are mostly adult snow geese with a few juveniles mixed in and a few Ross's geese also. I don't think there were any Canada geese in this flock. It seemed like each day they would split up into smaller flocks and kind of spread out all over the place and then return in the evening. And this is one evening when they were returning to the area and getting ready to roost. I hope to put a bunch of clips together and put them on my other channel soon. Even though that was a huge flock of geese, this flock of birds is much larger, and I'm estimating that it was probably in the range of 250,000 to 500,000 birds. If you look at the trees behind this flock, those aren't leaves, those are more birds. And that line of trees stretched for about a mile or more. There were so many birds flying in so many directions that sometimes it almost seemed like a tornado made of birds. I wanted to share this one because it's bigger than any flock I'd ever seen. And I hope to post more clips of it on my other channel too. A while back I asked for some help in deciding which dwarf tomato plants to grow, and here are the 2 that got the most votes. Dwarf Firebird Sweet and Dwarf Mr. Snow. I'm really glad that I asked for help because I'm pretty sure these might not have made the cut if I was just deciding on my own. But even though I'm growing things for myself, I'm also growing things for you. Because if I didn't have a YouTube channel, let's face it, I probably wouldn't grow as much stuff. And I like to grow things that I've never grown before. So this will be interesting for me too. Thanks a bunch for your help. That's about all we have going on right now. If you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.